Alright guys, welcome to another video of this course. In this video, we'll be talking about the Ellipse tool. Alright, let's clear up the screen. The Ellipse tool allows you to work with circles in your design. Now, to just like every other tool, just like every other tool, just like every other shape in Figma, there are some configurations you can make to your ellipse tools. Let's create a few iterations of ellipse so we can make each configuration. As usual, the first one we can make is the color correction. We can edit the color, change the colors, you know, change the color. We can decide to change the X code. If you have an X code, you can get the code and input it here, or you can change it manually over here and check for a suitable color. All right, that's good. Now, um, over here are some basic things you can edit. You can change from the solid color, we can change it to the gradient, or we can input an image or a video. So there are things you can add into this. You can fill it up with either a single color, a gradient color, which involves two or more colors matched together, blended together to give you this beautiful flow of different colors on a single shape. Or we can decide to input an image or a video. We'll be looking at that more when we start the main design project. All right, that's the first one. Moving on, the next thing we can change is obviously the size of the shape. We can change the size of the shape. It is advised, you notice that I am mostly dragging from my side, from the side, from the edge of my shape, while pushing down shift. Now, sorry about the noise. Sorry about the background noise. There's a construction going on in my area. It's making it so difficult to record right now. But I have to keep on working. I really apologize for that. So we can change the shape. As a designer, it is very important to make sure that you scale and reduce your shapes or your design elements properly. If you want to move this shape, you can uniformly without distorting it, because if I move this over here, this circle becomes distorted, this shape changes. This is not a circle anymore. So if I want, let's control or command Z that. Now if I want to um change this, if I want to change this without distorting it, what I do is press down shift or option, shift for Windows and option for Mac, and then move it. You can see the shape increases no matter where I move it. The shape is uniform, it is not distorted no matter where I move it. Now let's set it back to the center. Now if I want to if I want to move it at the center without distorting it, what I do is press down shift and alt, then scale up. This makes it be at the center. it puts the shape at the center. This is very important if you are trying to work with more precision. You are trying to reduce the amount of movement on your designs. Let's say I want to change the scale of this ellipse, this circle, but I don't want to have to move this, try to centralize this, because this this whole circle has already been aligned, has already been aligned, and I really don't want to change. I don't want to start aligning it again. What I need to do is press Shift and Alt and make that adjustment. Figma has a automatic alignment feature that shows you when things are aligned, and it shows you the position, your dimensions, your distance from each, the nearest. For example, now it's showing me that the distance from from my circle, showing that the distance from my circle to the edge of the artboard is 125, 152 rather, sorry. So that's it for the shape, the scaling and the reducing of the scale. Now, moving on to the, let's increase this scale so to be obvious we have done something on that. Now, moving on to the next feature, there is something we call the arc right here. This helps you to create an arc from your circle. As you can see me doing right now, changing the arc of my circle, changing the arc of my circle. This is quite, let me press Alt and let me press Alt for Windows and Option for MacBook, for Mac, to duplicate it, and let's edit this arc. Let's have let's have a few more arcs. Let's have 3 examples. So we can either edit the arc over here or simply change it here. Let's say let's use 50%, or let's use 67%. Now, so we can edit it here or here. Now, all right, so after that we have the ratio of the arc. So this is the start of the arc, the start point of the arc. We can decide to have it let's say 90 degrees. Over here you can change it, let's say 0 degrees for your arc to start at 0 degree, or we can have 30 degree, just like that. But let's change it back to 0 degree. Now, the next one is the ratio of your arc. So this circle can be changed to something completely different. It can be changed to something not solid, not filled up to the full capacity. Let me put it like that. So editing the ratio makes it, I see that now we have more like a circle than an ellipse. Now, this allows you to create something like charts, a loading effect for a loading effect for an app or a design, or let's say progress design to show the progress of a user using an app of sort. Now, so let's have a few a few example of this. Now we have 3 examples of the arcs with ratio with which we have increased their ratio. We can also edit the ratio here. Let's make this perfect 80 and make this, let's say, a 100. You see, makes it completely gone, but let's say 90. Now this is a little bit thinner. Now we can edit these arcs, these circles, the same way we are going to edit shapes. You understand? They are fully editable as the same way you are going to edit a rectangle. For let's for example, let's say we want to put corner radius. We can decide to add corner radius of 10. See that now? So this accepts the corner radius. You can decide to, let's say, also add the corner radius to this 10, and then let's fill it up with something of sort now. So basically it can be edited, you know, increase the corner smoothing to make it more smooth, so right here we can edit the, let's make it 20. You can edit the start point and so on. Also increase the corner radius for this, make it 4. Very good. So um we can also change the color for this, and let's change the color for this to something like green. Good. So basically we have we have circles that are so basically you are free to use this as you see fit. They can be applied in different ways. There are a lot of ways to apply this effect to your design to make your workflow quite interesting. Instead of turning it like this, we can decide to change the start to, say, -20, or -20 is small. Let's change it to -80, and this to 50. Or no, let's change this to 100. Good. So basically, um that's basically a whole lot you can do with the ellipse tool. All right. Let's quickly look at imputing images into your ellipse. All right. So looking at adding images into your shape, what we want to do is come to the fill option over here, move to images, then choose image. Now select the image and open. This automatically imputes, fills up your shape with the image you selected. Now you have options to do a little bit of tweaking to your images. These options are quite self-explanatory if you have experience with um image editing and color correction. We have the exposure, the contrast, the saturation, the temperature, the tint, the highlight, the shadow. Now, so this works with the amount of light or darkness I want, the amount of light I want in the images. I will not be going deeply into this, but just to demonstrate how you can actually work with this to fit into your project. If you are looking to use something completely dark, let's say black and white, if you are if your design is black and white and you have a color image, you don't have to move it to Photoshop to change the image to black and white, to edit the image to be black and white, then move it to Figma. You can simply edit that straight in Figma by just reducing the saturation, and you have your black and white photo. You can also black and white image. You can also change the rotation of the image you are using. Say the when you inputted the image, when you imported the image was not rotated properly, or the image was not looking right. You can actually rotate it to look the way you want. Please take note, do not rotate the image as such. Do not rotate your image like this. What you can do is simply rotate it like this. All right, so same thing goes for adding a video. You simply do the same thing, but uploading videos only work with file paid pro teams. So you have to use a pro team to upload videos, but that's quite not important right now. You just need to understand basically how it works to be able to use the effects and use it for your project. Now let's go back by pressing Control or Command Z, and you can see that we can add more contrast to this image by highlighting and trying to make this circle stand out. One other effect we can add to our ellipse is the stroke. So we can see we can add a stroke, add a little bit of thickness, 2, 3, or we can, if this is too much, we can simply add 1.5. We can also add decimal points. If you feel like adding 2 makes it too big, or let's say adding 3 is too big for you, looks too much, you can decide to add 2.5. You can decide to add 1.5, and and so on, to give you the accurate um size you want, to make it look better to you. So we can see that right here, this simply makes the circle stand out from the background. Let's say without it, it looks somehow plain, but with it, it stands out better. One other thing we can do is try to change the color. Let's say we use the eye picker tool to sample the color of the model. So we can decide to use the eye picker tool to 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 sample this black over here. Okay, so as you can see, it looks a lot better. For your project, the color of your stroke would depend on the color scheme you are using. The color of your stroke, the color of the element will depend on the color scheme or the color you are using for the project. So this, I'm sampling the this image because we are basically trying to explain how the stroke can enhance and add contrast to the element on the screen. It's not a must. It's not a necessity that you have to choose your color from the image in your shape. Now, a quick notice. Um, this technique for imputing images into a shape works for every other type of shape. It works for the rectangle, the triangle, the ellipse, and so on. Any form of shape that is a solid. The line tool does not work. It does not work for the line tool because it is basically a stroke. You understand? You can't impute a color into you can't impute an image into a stroke. All right, that will be all for the ellipse tool. We are going to be looking at another shape, which is the polygon shape, and this is another important shape that you will be needing a lot in your designs, and I will try to make it short. This video is getting quite long. I'm going to end this now. In the next video, we are going to be explaining the polygon shape. Thank you very much for watching this video. See you in the next video.